Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you very much for coming. Wow, what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. I had something. Oh, no, it's right here. Great. So let's start with, let's not bury the lead, guys. Here we are. There we go. I am now officially a member of the Ukrainian military. How's my sound? How is everything sounding? Shere Khan, thank you. Thank you, Frag. Thank you, all of you who are here. Mitch, Ronnie, Aussie Bugga. Aussie Bugga, I'm really glad that I could help you, and I hope that it works out. And I'll continue to help you, of course. Why the people? Aussie Bugga, I didn't know you spoke French. That is something to mention to the schools, because some of them I know don't just teach English; they also teach French, and that is needed. Hello, Robert. You are amazing. And Shere Khan, I particularly wanted to single you guys out because those of you who contributed to this particular item, so I literally just got this today from the post office, and this is the back brace that I was telling you all about that I pretty desperately needed. So yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to put it into my plate carrier yet. But yeah, I mean, according to all the reviews and everything, all the research, it's all based on ergonomic research and physical therapy, physical therapists, and all of this jazz. So yeah, I will let you know how it works, and maybe my next live stream, which I plan to do tomorrow, I'll be wearing my plate carrier and trying this on. So it's a big deal. So as you can see, just to give you an idea, these are the parts that go over your shoulder like that, and they strap into the plate carrier. And I'm sorry, maybe I should go full screen for this, but I'm not. Thank you, Shere Khan, for that. So they strap into the plate carrier like that, and then this back part is stiff. So there's kind of like I don't know if you can see it on the smaller screen, but this is a tension spring that runs from all the way down here, this hard plastic piece and wire down here, all the way up and into the shoulders up here, and it basically distributes that weight. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. It had some good reviews. Yeah, so wow, more people coming. Thank you so much. Anna, thank you for being here. Spider Fate Fella, what a cool name. Yeah, Last White Rose, Petra. Wow, coming out of the woodwork. Possum Nation. Oh, I see. These are gifted memberships here. And then, yeah. Yeah, it may work and it may not. Yeah, I mean, everybody's body is different and what have you, but it's the best that I could find. And to be honest with you, if it doesn't work for me, I will find someone to, because there's God. So I guess the next thing I should tell you about. Good afternoon, Lynn, or Dobre Večer, as we say here in Ukraine. It means good afternoon or good evening, I guess. Keith, wonderful to see you. Why the people? fantastic. Anyway, so I had my first 24 hours in the army, the Ukrainian army, and I have to say this is going to sound crazy, right, to say this, but it was glorious. It was wonderful. It was just all absolutely just positivity, and I mean relative positivity. Okay, we're talking about in a war with people dying all around us, and everyone that I met with, including myself, has had lots of friends die, and most of the guys I met with, were veterans of like Bakhmut and all this jazz. So why the people says I'm happy and also nervous. Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad you're nervous. How did they like your haircut? Envious, probably. That's interesting. I get that from a lot of Ukrainians who really like my haircut, and then they're always really surprised when they find out that I cut my own hair. Like I haven't been to a barber in, I don't know, at least 10 years. Um, so yeah, I just think that I mean okay. First of all, I need to tell you guys that I got my flu shot today, which honestly I wish I had gotten it 2 months ago before I literally was sick like 3 or 4 times. Do I also do Starsky's hair, Ozzy Bugga? No, I do not. But if I did, it would be very different. I can tell you. I'm very much into punk rock hairdos. I've been trying to get my wife to go punk rock I don't think it's ever going to happen, of course. Um, but I always taunt her. You know, she makes me mad. She's going to wake up in the morning with a punk rock hairdo. Hjalmar, I haven't for 40. Well, yeah, no, I went 10 years without a haircut, and then I got a haircut once when I became a teacher in America. And then the first teaching job I got was on a Native American Indian reservation. And I was like, "Oh, what the hell did I do that for? That was dumb." So eventually, I grew it back and then didn't cut it again for another 10 years. And I cut my hair in 2017 was when I really chopped it, you know. Hey, the Ukraine mission. By the way, guys, I want to introduce you guys to in our chat here, the Ukraine mission. And actually, this is a good opportunity to go to his YouTube channel while I'm thinking about it. Here we go. So, it. I don't know if I inspired this YouTube channel, but so this is a friend of mine. So I don't know if you want me to share your name, but this is a friend of mine who was literally, oh, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm sure we do, Jennifer. Yeah, Ingvald Havshold at your service. Yeah, greetings. We have some people in Atenvelt who are very interested in the SCA, by the way, Jennifer, in their group here. Thank you, Petra, and I will, and I certainly do. In our chat here, Jennifer, we should have coming along. I'm sure we'll have Cheryl Watley and Bell Cowart, who are both in Atenvelt and are the best candidates ever for the SCA. I swear to God. So anyway, going back to my sorry, it's the flu shot, man. It really, like an hour ago, it just hit me, and I was like, "Oh my God, what the hell?" In any case, so this person, the Ukraine mission here, he's a Brit, from Great Britain, and he's joined the 95th Air Assault Brigade, but he was the very first when I went to join the International Legion last year. He was the very first person I met. We were both waiting at the same bus stop, and you know, it was cool. And so now he's, um, he did a stint in the Legion and then moved on to the 95th, and is is helping with. So if you guys could get on there and subscribe to this channel, the Ukraine mission, which I will. There we go. Post the. Yeah, really cool, and I really feel like every unit needs to do this, and especially, I've been talking about this for a while. Every unit that has a foreigner in their unit, which I think is a lot of them now, the foreigner should, especially if they happen to be English speaking, that really helps, I think. Um, they should become kind of like the mascot, the international mascot um, for the unit. And it's necessary now. Every unit needs to have its own media and its own, here in Ukraine, at least it's more with Trump happening, and God knows what's going to happen with aid to Ukraine coming from the United States after January 20th or even after January 6th. And we can talk about that if you guys want to. So yeah, so there's there's a PayPal here. You can go to the PayPal. Yeah. There we go. So I'll post the PayPal in our chat as well, if you'd like to go and help. So, oh yeah, cool, Elvin, great, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, I just want to talk about, man, I just like spent basically 24, maybe 36 hours, just meeting with my unit, I guess they're a battalion, and they were just amazing. It was like fun. I felt like so welcomed, and just this warm, fuzzy feeling, like wow. And I mean, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier, really. I met with the major of, I'm not sure if it's going to be my unit, but I know that they would like me, my unit, so there's different, each a battalion has different companies. So this would be the major is in charge of, I don't know how many people. I think a company. I don't know exactly, but anyway, literally, check this out. Maybe I should stop sharing here. This the major of the company that I will probably end up, working with, gave me a watch. Literally gave, it was like, he was just like, hey, I want to give you something to welcome you to our battalion, welcome you to our group. And he was like, I noticed you didn't have a good wristwatch, and he was like, here, this is yours. It's brand new. It's brand new. I don't know how much it costs. Could have been, $10. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the point. Like, and it is something, especially for frontline fighters. Now, and then now the thing is, of course, I'm not probably going to spend a lot of time on the front line. So, who was it who said that they were happy but nervous? Don't be too worried. I'm probably going to be relatively safe for some time. First of all, I have at least a month of training, at least. And interesting thing, they allowed me, or I don't know if they allowed, I didn't ask for this, but they I'm skipping basic training. So I'm going straight to the technical training, which at um, at one point, I mean, I guess, I'm slightly disappointed that I don't get to do fat camp, because God knows I kind of need it. But it's also like the middle of winter, and that's not my favorite time to be running in the snow. You know what I mean? um, and I don't like to publicize it too much because I know most of the guys in my unit did have to go through basic. But I also think that yes, thank you, Elvin, for promoting um, the 95th. Yeah, OPSEC, Ronnie. Yeah, but uh, it was just great. I just want to also the major of my unit gave me this knife. So he went to training with NATO. He went through officer training um, in I can't remember what country, Lithuania maybe, something, or Poland, and he gave me this really cool pocket knife. Which, I mean, okay, I already have like 3 or 4 knives. It's kind of, I'm a knife guy. I try not to be because I know that that's super cringe. Um, but it has yes, it is a very cool knife. It has let's see, it has an awl, which I find to be tremendously useful because I'm the guy who fixes stuff. I like to do sewing and things, and there's always sorts of things that need to be fixed that way. And this, it's not just a beer opener, you guys. Check this out. This is I've never seen this on a pocket knife before. It has a hidden serrated blade. And this thing, I swear to God, I know it's short, but it's sharp as hell. It looks like it could cut down a tree. So that's pretty cool. Elvin says you can never have too many knives. Yeah, I feel like there are guys who have to walk like 10 kilometers to their to the zero line who would maybe disagree with you. Um, and yes, Scruffy, I did last week bought a multi-tool, not an official Leatherman, but yeah, a knife that has an awl. Exactly, KKSGG. Yeah, and it is potentially a can opener as well. So just a wonderful, like, warm, welcoming, positive experience, and just so massively different from experiences in the International Legion. I'm sorry to say, just um, yeah. So the other thing I want to make mention of is that I joined Blue Sky, everybody. So this was my first post on Blue Sky. So whyukraine.bluesky.social, B Sky, I guess. But I'm sure if you just do a search for Why Ukraine on there, maybe. Um, so yeah, um, I'm happy about that. Looks like it's really taken off. You know, um, man, I just can't get over how uh, great an experience it was, and talking to the other guys in my unit who are like ahead of me in the training and things, and none of them have any complaints about the biggest complaint today was that nobody had a key to get into some building because all the people with the keys to some building or another had left. I mean, really just minor stuff. And so I mean, yeah. So I thought it would be good just to start off with some positivity today, because God knows there's a lot of negative shit. And yeah, so I will go back to my unit. I'm not going to say when, but I will go back to my unit. Between now and then, though, I'm going to try and live stream as much as I can. And the other thing I would say is that, and I mentioned this on the Discord, but I set up, so now on the whyukraine.com website, people were asking, well, a couple of people were asking, hey, James, do you have a link where, you know, when you're offline and stuff and you can't do live streams, that where we can donate? You can't find me on Blue Sky, Spider Fate. Well, let's just see. Maybe I can. Blue Sky, yeah. Okay. I mean, literally, it's the first time using it, so it doesn't surprise me. So it's at whyukraine.bsky.social. And I did, yeah, Blue Sky is the new Twitter alternative that seems pretty good. One thing that I just noticed about it that I really like is that you can set up your own server on your own system to host your own content. So if I read that correctly, and I need to go back and read the user agreement and all of that, but there's a way. So in other words, like on Facebook, even on YouTube, you post your content to their server, and they basically own that content. But it looks like, and I mean, I could be wrong about this, but it looks like with Blue Sky, you can have your own Blue Sky server, and then that content stays on your server. It belongs to you. So, have I done the minimum follows? Like, no, maybe not. Maybe I haven't followed anyone yet. I literally, I posted this, and that's all I did. So, I need to go out and get started. Like 10 posts, follow 7 accounts. Yeah, so obviously I need to do that. So I should go on here, and if you guys are on Blue Sky, oh, there we go. So Last White Rose. Last White Rose. Let's see. I can't find you either. Maybe capitalize it. Well, it is brand new. We do need to figure this out. We will figure it out. I'm sure that. Catherine, I barely use Twitter anyway. So it's I will jump off Twitter soon. I mean, all I ever do is go on there and post my links, and usually there's a pop-up from Elon Musk every goddamn time, and then there's something about Ukraine, and I'll usually say F you to Musk, and like a bunch of Ukraine stuff, and then that's the extent of my interaction with. I know that a lot of people use Twitter for news and stuff. I understand it's a great resource, and that's why I just hope everybody just jumps over. Yelmar, you shall only use X if you are in a too good of a mood. Yeah, if I'm feeling too happy, Okay, Mitch. So you can't find me either. Well, I'm sure. I'm sure it will happen. Let me see if I can. Maybe I can. What if I can't find me? Why Ukraine? It's probably because I'm too new, and the algorithm hasn't algorithmized me or something. But Oh, you did find Lynn. Lynn, if you just found Last White Rose, post her link. Post her link. So because yeah, I'm getting a lot of, well, anyway, a lot of stuff. Anyway, so it's good that we're all jumping over there. Hundreds of millions follow Elmo. Yeah. So this won't be the last time I'll talk about Catherine. No, it's not like Discord. It is a Twitter clone, Catherine. It's basically just somebody just copied Twitter completely. And James, I'm 67. I don't know how to do. You know, you sound like Cheryl Watley when she first started coming to my live streams. And I can tell you, you found me by searching it on Google, Mitch? That's hilarious. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. Why Ukraine Blue Sky? That would be really funny. No, Blue Sky Ukraine. Well, that's nice that there's a... Okay, search instead for it. There we go. Okay. You know, not quite there yet. Oh, well. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I said, Mitch. I may have to... Yes, Catherine, Elon won't like that. That is exactly the point. Okay. Really exactly the point. So I'm going to get on there and hopefully find some of you, and then we will connect. But yeah, Lynn, what I was saying earlier before I, found a squirrel, is that Cheryl Watley started coming on my lives. She's one of my old schoolers on my live streams when I had like one viewer, and it was her. But eventually we taught her how to get on Discord and do all this stuff. Boy, she's like on the internet now. I saw her, no joke, in a live stream today with ATP Geopolitics, which, by the way, I want to do a shout out for them, because ATP is basically has become kind of my go-to above all else. Look, it's right at the top of my search list. Above all else for finding out what the hell's going on in the world. Ronnie, could you update us on Discord? Oh, you mean like, yes, it's a good point. So in other words, send you a link to I can probably link you to my Blue Sky from my Discord. That sounds great. Aha! Mitch found me. Huzzah! Woohoo! Great. Yeah, Scruffy. Yeah, I'm more and more. I'm just like, I want to know what's going on. I listen to Johnny, and sometimes I even do what he tells me to, and listen to him on like double speed. But usually, I prefer his dulcet tones at normal speed. Yeah, it's really, I like Jake Broe, and I like even Combat Veteran Reacts, Dennis Davydov, Artur Rehi. Those are some of the big ones. Greg Terry, obviously. I like a lot of the stuff Greg Terry's been doing recently, especially the shorter stuff. But when I need, like, I'm like, I want to know what's going on right now in the shortest possible condensed form. Yeah. Cheryl, ATP is not the first thing I watch in the morning. By the way, welcome. I was just talking about you. That in ATP Geopolitics live stream today, you were giving people tech support for how to get on Discord, and I was very impressed and very proud of you. And I was just making snarky comments, which was terrible of me. But but there I am. I start my morning with Jake Broe because Jake Broe pisses me off in the best possible way. So when I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to get out of bed. Fuck. I listen to Jake Broe, and usually by about a third or halfway through Jake Broe, I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna get up and kill Putin myself right now. You know? Oh, sure, Kenneth, I get that because he is a pilot. I like Dennis. I understand a lot. Some people, not a lot. Some people don't like him because for different reasons. Sometimes he says things that people don't like about Ukraine and stuff. I like him because he's a Ukrainian and he expresses his opinion, and that is sometimes controversial. I happen to know a lot of Ukrainians here who have controversial opinions, and his is not by any way the most controversial. So so yeah. Oh, I got ATP to stop pumping bricks. He did call me a troll through it. Wait. Uh I love the guy, but 160 mentions of bricks. I had to ask why. I didn't really notice. I wasn't paying attention. But I guess there was kind of a bricks thing in all of the media for a while, you know. Oh, Sally, thanks for coming. I know sometimes you're not able to make it, so it's nice that you're here. Yeah, so I start with Jake Broe and then I move on to ATP, and what's shocking that he gets so few views, you know, like 6,000 views or whatever, 7, 8, occasional 20. That's shocking to me because he does a better job than, I mean, he's a better job than most of the mainstream media. Like, yeah, okay. So Cheryl, about Perun, I like Perun. I think he's great, but I also can't stand him because for some reason the algorithm, every time I have anything even slightly Ukraine related, the next following video after that is Perun. And then 9 times out of 10, it's some Perun video that I listened to 6 months ago or something. And here's the thing: I think part of the reason that Perun is as successful as he is because unlike Johnny, unlike ATP, unlike Jake Broe, Archer Rehi, he's just doing PowerPoints. You know, he's just doing PowerPoints. It's like the safest. And whenever he speaks about something controversial, he puts it in such oh, hey Nikki, it's good to see you. He puts it in such cloaked euphemistic terms. I mean, like that the algorithm just is like, Perun is the safe for advertisers guy, I think, you know. But that's the thing is that's not, I mean, I'm not saying he's not helpful, but that's not helpful in a real way for getting this knowledge about Ukraine out there, you know. Last White Rose, Perun did an excellent review of my country's military. Are you Canadian? Because I noticed he just did a Canadian thing. He's kind of going through all the NATO members. Yeah, no, and I appreciate Perun's viewpoint. I just, I wish that the algorithm, by which I mean YouTube, and I don't think it's just the algorithm. I think it's YouTube's policies are causing Perun to be recommended. In so many cases, when we need to get this kind of news that Johnny is talking about in front of people's faces more and more and more. And he trashed us large in Canada. Yeah, well, that's fair. Yeah, Tochny is good, but less approachable than ATP. You know, frankly, Tochny is where everyone else goes. So with the guys who are like Johnny and other sources, I think are going to Tochny for their. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's um, you know. And in the meantime, the normies out there are going like, we don't know what's happening in Ukraine. Where's Ukraine? Because the mainstream news, and let's we can just look at the mainstream of mainstream, and it's nothing about Ukraine, virtually nothing, and it's all. I mean, here's the thing, and I posted about this here on Facebook. Did I say? I did post about it on Facebook, but on the community tab here, and basically, this is a while back. The CEO of CNN is a big Trump supporter. Wow, Petra. Thank you. I will just say thank you for that. I'm not sure that I'm a hero yet, but I will try. Cheryl, let me tell you something. Cheryl's like, wait, I just lost her message here. Cheryl says, I'm on Rick the Ukrainian, hours and hours, Dylan Burns, Operator Starsky. Yeah, I mean, Cheryl, you are like everywhere, Every time I go on any live stream at all, I'm, oh, hey, Cheryl. Cheryl's here. It makes me wonder when you sleep. Yeah, I like Slavi, by the way. I like the work she's doing. It's just a real uphill battle. And this is why it's so important. When I was mentioning before about my friend who set up his own YouTube channel, I mean, I would just say that, like, Tridents Against Tyrants, Apatox, thank you, Ryan. Apatox, I think everybody who can, we have to fight this trend. I mean, it's just like gamesmanship. It's all just, and people get turned off by that, and so they stop paying attention. I mean, I think other things are to blame as well. Yeah, Slavi is working as freaking, I mean, like me. Oh my gosh, can I find her is the question. No, I don't want Slavia. We all have to kind of figure this out as we go along. The one thing I would say, I was stupid. Spelled it wrong. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the one thing I would say is that, like ATP, Jake Broe, Artur Rehi, these guys, they all had a YouTube channel, a podcast, something like that going before the war started. And they already kind of knew what they were doing. Oh, Joe Lindsley. Joe Lindsley is great. But what do I say about Joe Lindsley? He has such a radio presence. And what's weird is that he's not a bad looking dude. I would, the classic saying, he has a face for radio. He's kind of a good looking guy, to be honest. I mean, no homo or anything, but but somehow, like, I don't know. I felt he was kind of like me on um it's kind of like me on YouTube, just trying to figure out his way around, you know. But he has a lot of good things to say, and the way I learned to like Joe Lindsley, this is going to sound strange. The way I learned to like Joe Lindsley was to listen to him and not watch him. Uh Scruffy, I like Perun, but I struggle with listening for an hour to PowerPoint. So the way I listen to Perun, and a lot, also like Ukraine, the latest is a lot of these I listen to while I'm cooking or going for a walk, um, or doing exercises, that sort of thing. And by the way, Scruffy, um, let's not forget your stuff, which has gotten better and better and better, and now you're there we go. I mean, I would say that you're like ATP Geopolitics is good with geopolitics, but your like in-depth analysis of the critical areas of the front is getting really, really good. And especially, I mean, I've brought you up multiple times, and there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? I don't know how we got on this topic, but while we're at it, we might as well talk about reporting from Ukraine, of course, for Ukraine. Yeah, from Ukraine, which I listen to almost every day, but I've kind of stopped, as you can see. Here's the thing: as I'm getting more and more, uh, as closer and closer to the fight, I guess the stuff I'm paying attention to is more and more 30,000 feet. I guess. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Um, Mitch Ashdown, I'm in 2 amputee Facebook groups, which takes some time as well. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, Paul. Good to see you. I'm Max. Thank you for coming. Phil Ittner. I mean, I love that there's so many people who are out there. When I started this over a year ago, going almost 2 years ago, and I didn't start live streaming. Actually, a year ago is when I started live streaming, and I started out just making videos, and I found that was incredibly boring and took a really long time. um, so I really, people who make these videos, I just have so much admiration for, because making, like, what is this, a 4-minute video? I mean, this would probably take me about 3 days, to be honest. I'm slow, so slow. That's interesting, Helmar. I like this statement. I think it would be good if every nation had a guy like you. I think many like to hear about the stuff their nation gives to Ukraine. That's, really, that's kind of what I mean. It's like the democratization of information. Everybody needs to be out there. If okay, so you don't have money to give, all right, and maybe you don't have a lot of time. This is something that you can do. You know, yeah. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to don't just consume, even if you consume this stuff, even if you can't make your own, try to share this information. Try to, if you find something that, and I'm talking to myself as much as you guys. If you're watching reporting from Ukraine, or you're watching Scruffy or ATP, watching Johnny, and Joe, whatever it is, share that. Share it with, message people who, the people who in your life who are kind of like, I don't really, not paying attention, just going through life, and I understand, of course, right? Rick the Ukrainian might not be for everybody, and me, for example, I'm obviously not for the casuals. Okay. um, but I think ATP, Johnny regularly says that 50% of his viewers consistently are brand new viewers. They've never, never watched a video on his channel before. And that's one reason why I think he's so good. Because if he's able to sustainably do that, then that's really freaking awesome. He's really putting out stuff, essentially. Oh, that's a good point, Canti. If you know a language other than English, share it in that language. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's just an interesting thing, though. As I've been getting closer and closer to potentially going to war, I'm feeling myself having to step back more and more from the day-to-day frontline reports, of what's going on in Pokrovsk, and I'm aware of it. I know, about the freaking dam here, and this is just a problem. We were talking about this last time, but I need to be thinking about kind of like big picture stuff because of what I'm going to be going into and doing. I need to be thinking about big picture stuff and also the things that I'm being trained on, and so that's kind of changing the way that I am consuming, I guess. Oh, Paul, you actually met JP and bought him a beer. That is freaking rad. That's awesome, dude. Someday that's a bucket list for me, for sure. So yeah, I guess talking about what I'm going to be doing, I don't exactly know yet. It's going to have something to do with drones, and I can tell you the name of my unit. If you guys don't know already, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, the name of my unit is Angry Birds. No, really, Angry Birds. It's not a secret. It doesn't have to be a secret. It's neat to know. You guys know. The reason I'm telling you is because just like the Ukraine mission is doing, supporting his unit. I am going to probably slowly convert my channel and my website. I mean, you can just expect that. Where didn't I have a link to it? Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. You're probably going to see me start doing things about my unit and about drones specifically. I don't know exactly what that's going to be, but I'm in discussion with my um, command and stuff. Yeah, Catherine. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly. He is actually ahead of me. He started before me. Um, so yeah, and Mikhailo is such a common name, right? If you throw a rock, you'll probably hit a Mikhailo. So yeah, so that's the deal. Um, yeah. Oh, why the people? I'm excited for you, James. I hope you can keep your channel active. I was hooked by the sock puppets. Wow, yeah, I might have been the only viewer then. Yeah, there was a time, a year ago, where it was like you and Cheryl Watley, you know, and that was it, man. So, um, yeah. So I will say that. How much time do we have? Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about. Um, yeah, Scruffy, the 95th. Maybe they have been in Kursk, but yeah, yeah, that's right, Scruffy. So, um, but yeah, so I want to talk about, how do I say this? How I joined um, the army was really strange and not common. Um, I think it's kind of like I had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone. Um, there is the International Legion, and you guys know very well that we have been supporting the International Legion. I think now, with the changes in the law in Ukraine, in the sense that foreigners, uh, there we go, foreign officers. Yeah, look at that. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thanks to the new law in Ukraine, foreigners will be able to serve as officers in the armed forces, state special transport service, National Guard. I think a lot of the changes that have been coming in the Ukrainian army itself, um, in some ways, make that a better option for people who are, um, who are looking to come to Ukraine and fight. How do I say this? No offense to anybody who's watching who happens to be in the International Legion, and I'm really sad to say this, but right now, and this is really hard for me to say. Right now, at this exact moment, November of 2024, I think if you were going to come to Ukraine to fight as a soldier, I think I would hold off on joining the International Legion for a while. I think they have some stuff to work out. I know a lot of things that I can't share, but I've stuff that's been coming to me from many and multiple sources. Even just today, to be honest, somebody was messaging me going, "Hey, I hope you didn't join the International Legion because I'm hearing this and that and the other thing," and they that well, I mean, how do I say this? I mean, there are, keep in mind, I don't. There are three different battalions within the Legion, and I've heard good things about one of them and bad things about two of them. Uh, one of them doesn't exist anymore. In other words, You guys know how many people are in a battalion, right? 300 to 600. Cheryl, yeah, some of them were in Kursk. Some of them still are. There are people coming to me saying, and I mean, this is like all over the place, that I don't know. I don't think it's every battalion in the International Legion, but at least one of them that I know of. It's they're just being wasted. Their lives are being wasted, and it is bad, really bad. Now, I have said before, and we did support, and we will continue to support my friends who are doing training. And yeah, you only need one to keep the battalion alive, right, Ronnie? Yeah, Spider Fate. I think what's happening is they're getting sent to the front lines instead of Ukrainians like North Koreans in Russia. That's exactly what's happening. And frankly, it's been happening since the summer. It's been happening since May or June. And it's so stupid. It's so short-sighted because, you know, it's so short-sighted. Like the foreigners who are just being sent into basically meat grinder because because the commanders don't care because they're foreigners. I mean, I don't know I don't know the command of any, the International Legion. Okay. Right, but the problem is that. So sorry, I'm just going to read your comments here. So Scruffy said it's been the military truth since Roman time. The sad truth about the Foreign Legion is that it's easier to sacrifice foreigners than your own countrymen. Cheryl Rotley says cannon fodder. Not Ozzy Bugga, not unusual for foreign volunteers in war to get used. Orwell's homage to Catalonia. It might seem good at the time, but yeah, but long term, not good for relations around the world. That's the issue. They exist, but what is the age level of the guys going to the Kursk front? I think these guys may be mostly older than 30s, maybe older. They exist. My experience with the International Legion is that they're mostly younger guys, younger than 30s. So mid 30s to plenty of guys in their 20s in the Legion. Plenty. 20, 21. You only have to be 18. So I didn't meet anyone younger than 20, but 20 was pretty normal. Yeah, it's very discouraging for those who are thinking of volunteering. And all I can say is I think that the International Legion needs to be reorganized, in some way, and somebody needs to step in and do something about it. Ronnie, it could be the flu shot happening, but I'm not grokking what you're saying here. Ukraine was 1-4 Russia. If it gets bigger, Europe is 4-1 versus Russia. If it escalates more, it's China plus Russia versus Europe 1. Oh, wait. Okay. Like, in other words, Ukraine versus Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. Yeah, maybe. Aren't the foreign fighters usually more experienced than the average Ukrainian? No. I would say no. In fact, on my experience, certainly not now. I mean, maybe at the beginning of the war, maybe in 2022, yes, but not now. I mean, the Legion, I feel like the Legion tries to keep it 50-50, those with some military experience and those with just nothing. But what counts as military experience is pretty thin. Yeah, that's Mitch. So Mitch says those that volunteer go to other legions as well. And I have often felt, it was my feeling when I was in the Legion in training, that it was kind of being used as just a filtering recruitment station for other brigades. Foreign fighters are often, not always, professional soldiers, but a lot of Ukrainians. Now, when I was in the Legion, I met quite a few professional soldiers. I met guys who had spent 5-10 years in whatever army, American, Canadian, British, French Foreign Legion, whatever. But that doesn't mean they had combat experience, okay, at all. I mean, when you think Anna talking about watching Civdiv, like before Civdiv went to help me, before Civdiv went to Syria, right? He had no combat experience, so if I'm not mistaken. So that's a lot of I see what you mean. That's why I say Ukrainians are veterans, but Westerners are professionals. Now I see what you mean, Scruffy. Yeah. But sadly, I mean, I did meet many very professional Westerners, but I also met a few real fuck ups in the Legion. Like wow. Like maybe they got kicked out of whatever army they were in, and they didn't know what else to do with themselves, and so they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go to Ukraine." So that I saw that too. But yeah, unfortunately, it's. Oh, Civdiv is what I think of when we talk about a Foreign Legion member. Yeah, and then, but here's the thing: Civdiv was never in the International Legion officially. I don't believe. If he was, it was just for the most brief time at the very beginning, and then he was, siphoned off to other units and other brigades. So he's probably not an example of a Foreign Legion member, to be honest. That's not a criticism at all. It's just Project Constantine is not part of the Legion. That is correct. We're talking about Pete. Yeah, no, he I don't know what he was in, but he was not part of the Legion. I can't remember. The one I most admire is the quietly spoken. Wait, does that say porn? Oh, Palm. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is we're kind of coming to the end of my live stream today. I want to talk about this. This isn't important. I mean, God, there's so much I could talk about, like all this crazy crap that's happening with Trump and everything, and I will talk about it tomorrow. Okay, honestly. But this right here, transfer through the Army Plus without reporting to the commander. How will it work? This is, I predict, going to be fucking revolutionary in the Ukrainian army, if it is what I think it is. So transfer through the Army Plus without reporting to the commander. How will it work? Collect everything that is currently known. Okay. The Armed Forces of Ukraine launched an experiment with a simplified system of transfers. So transfer means you get a different job. You go to a different unit in the army. And this has been a huge problem because I have met, from way back in 2022, many, maybe in the hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers who were like, "Help me, I'm trapped in this horrible, shitty unit." And also members of the International Legion
who they're in one battalion and they're like, oh, this sucks, and they want to transfer to another, or they go to this unit or that unit, trying to find one that fits for them, that's right for them. And the problem is the commanders don't want to let them go, obviously, and if you've got the crappier, the shittier your commander, the more corrupt your commander is, the more, I've heard experiences where guys have been like, yeah, my commander told me that if I wanted to transfer, I'd have to pay him like 30,000 grivnas or something. Well, at one time it was like $1,000. That's normal, or it was normal in the Ukrainian army before the war. And if you've got some, and let me tell you, even in my unit, so the unit that I am with, before they became part of the drone force, they were attached to a brigade. So this is what's happening in the Ukrainian army now. The way the drone force is being formed is a lot of these drone units are being peeled off from the brigades that they were attached to, and they're now part of the drone force. Similar thing, perhaps I would say, probably happened. Scruffy or someone else may know the history better than I, but like with the U.S. Air Force, for example, which was part of the Navy before it was its own thing. So that's kind of what's happening with the drone force. So anyway, so this commander, and I'm just going to use the general term commanders because not just for OPSEC, but because I don't fully understand ranks of everyone yet. But this particular commander was like, yeah, he had a lot of things to say about the Soviet, Soviet Russia commanders in the Ukrainian army, and so this system here, it's this Army Plus, it's a phone app, okay, that you can use for all the sort of paperwork they're trying to, because the bureaucracy, God knows the American army is like, everything is signed 6 times in triplicate, right? And just imagine that kind of bureaucracy, and then add like, the lineage of communist bureaucracy on top of it, really awful shit. Which I'm shocked and amazed and happy that I already got my bank account set up today, and it took, I spent the day getting my flu shot, getting a bank account, getting some paperwork set up, and it was just like boom, 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 and the paperwork person in my unit was like on it. She was on it like white on rice, and I was just so impressed because I've heard of so many units where it takes months for you to even get paid, but so this is, so the thing is, like, if you want to transfer to a different unit because your commander sucks, your commander is going to take that personally, right? And I've heard of guys getting punished, even potentially being effectively sent to their death because they being sent to the front line too soon, before they should have been, because they were sick or injured or something like that, because they asked for a transfer. Okay. So it talks about it right here. As it was until now, formerly, in order to be transferred to the unit, it was necessary to obtain a relationship from the commander of the unit where the serviceman wanted to go. After that, he wrote a report in the name of his commander. There was no deadline for the review of the report. He could wander between different levels and collect a number of approvals, especially if this is a transfer between different types of troops. Reports could have been lost. In any case, the commander did not have to satisfy the transfer report, and that was the end of it. So actually, the transfers were more like a lottery, or probably more like, who could you bribe, to be honest, right? So now, from now on, servicemen can submit a transfer report in digital format through the Army Plus application. And this document will immediately reach the Personnel Center of the Armed Forces, which will conduct all communication on behalf of the applicant and make a decision on his future service. That's freaking awesome. What that means is you're basically implementing kind of a meritocracy of units. So, I mean, essentially, bad commanders, okay, everybody's going to leave them. Bad units, everybody's going to leave them as soon as they can. And there's going to be nobody to stop them. So, units that are good, that are set up well, that have trustworthy commanders, that are competent, that don't just send guys to their death for no reason, and all of those things, those guys are going to attract the best. They're going to have the best to choose from, and I mean, Elvin, it's literally like creating a meritocracy in the military. And I mean, I know that I know that word is used. I'm probably using the wrong word, but I mean meritocracy of a free market. Let's say a free market, yeah, theoretically. And I mean, I don't know if I hope it's going to be a good thing. Um, Now, obviously, the first thing that is going to happen is that everybody who is on the front line is going to try to transfer off the front line. So it says here, uh, from where you can transfer, where and when, rear units of rear and operational support, higher military training centers, blah blah blah. So everybody who's on the front line is going to try to get off the front line, but of course, there's limited spots. You know, sure, Scruffy, and it could be a freaking mess. Yeah, I think it is better to use the number of transfer requests as a measure if a commander should be investigated and may be removed, because having troops moving all over the place is not workable. I would agree with you, but to be honest with you, Scruffy, almost everyone I know, particularly in the International Legion, has moved around to at least like 3 units. Not just 3 units, 3 completely different battalions or brigades. I know people who have been to 6, 7 more. I know people who have been through more than 10 different units, and at that point you start to go, maybe there's something wrong with that guy, and that's kind of what everyone says about that person. But, yeah, inevitably become a measure of commanders. That's exactly right. Obviously, there's not going to be enough spots. There's already too many people in the rear, as it were, who, nobody wants to be on the front line, obviously. But once all that shakes out, so it says here, so the new order will allow transferring from rear units to combat or rear units, from combat units to combat units, from combat units to the rear, according to the conclusion of the VLK. I can't remember what VLK stands for. Anyway, I really need to know that. Actually, it's important to me. If the person does not hold a position in the brigade court, anyway. But this is an interesting point here. Transfer is possible no more than once a year, and only after 6 months of service in the current unit. Now that's a good thing, right? I mean, I think, why exactly 6 months? And I think that this is a good statement. The first months are training and adaptation. Yeah, I mean, it takes at least 6 months. I think any of you who are or have been in the army know that. In any army, it will take a lot of HR staff to do. Yeah, I mean, but to be honest, here's the thing. Like I was just saying, this flood of transfer requests has been going on this whole time. I'm sure that there's some HR staff who've got like stacks of transfer requests this high, and it's all being done by paper, So the fact that they're going digital, yeah. So I mean, yeah. I think overall, I think it's a good thing. I think it's going to have, as you guys are pointing out, it's going to come with its own problems. But I think it's a very interesting experiment. And it also shows you how strong the democratic impetus is in Ukrainian society. How incredibly strong that is. that they would come up with this solution, you know. So I think that's where I'm going to stop it for today, everybody. Tomorrow, maybe, when I'm not feeling like I'm getting the flu, even though I'm not getting the flu, I just had my flu shot. God damn it. Tomorrow, I do want to address things like fucking Trump's goddamn clown car. Oh, Pasha is up next? Really? Hang on. Let's see here. Pasha. You know, when I do a YouTube search, oh, it's so obnoxious. Like when I do YouTube never finds what I'm looking for when I do a search. I just have to wait for it to pop up. Aha, look, there it is. All right, so everybody, yeah, hop on over to Pasha. And why are we going to Donbass? Stream 24. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Very cool. Here we go. I am sending you my viewers. Just closing my stream. Yeah, so hop on over there, guys. And Frag, thank you all for a really good discussion. And I don't know if I talked about the things that I said I was going to talk about, but it was good to talk to all of you. And thank you all for coming. If you can help me, because I don't know what I'm getting into or what's going to happen, feel free to go to my website. And the most important thing right now for me is I need to get an inverter for my family here so we can get through the winter with electricity. Thanks, Elvin. Thank you, everybody. Do pobачення. Slava Ukraine.